What's up, fellas? We are traveling down the road here in Alexandria, Louisiana. We're going to change out a coil. I tell you what, I don't think I've ever changed so many coils in my life. And most of them are warranty. That's pretty much all I've been doing lately is changing coils. Just shot right here in the rear view. If you can see that box right there, that's a York evaporator coil. This is a York heat pump. It's not microchannel because it's a heat pump. So we've actually have not had any trouble with this unit except the other day they called and we found it low on refrigerant and found out that the evaporator was leaking. So we're gonna go change it out and hopefully we can get y'all some film on it. Okay guys, here's our York system. We have everything ready, set up to pump down. We have the blue gauge. And as you can see, it is not microchannel. It's copper tube aluminum fin, and it is 410A refrigerant. So being that it's not microchannel, it should pump the refrigerant back into the system. That's what I'm hoping for anyway, so I don't have to take the recovery machine out. So we are going to give it a shot and see if she'll pump it back. Well guys, as you can see, it did a really good job. It got it down to pretty much zero. So now I'll be completely honest with you guys. If York would have stayed with this right here, with the copper tube aluminum fin coil, I would have never quit selling it, because this is actually not a bad machine as long as it's not microchannel. As you can see, it's a York. It's not a bad looking machine. Tyler just killed the thermostat, so that's why you heard the reversing valves release. It's not a bad looking machine at all. It's the York LX series. This one has a scroll. You can't really, yeah, you can probably see it's got a scroll compressor in it. And here's a good look at the coil. So you can tell that that's not microchannel. That's copper tube aluminum fin. Had York stayed copper tube aluminum fin, now on all the heat pumps it is copper tube aluminum fin, but on the straight cools it is microchannel. And we do have a little bit of straight cool here, but had they would have stayed with this coil, I would still be selling this equipment. So we're going to go inside now and start tearing the coil out. Guys, here's the old coil. You can see it was leaking. This is nothing but oil. There's oil in the pan. There's oil over here. When I did the leak detection, I didn't even have to take the door off. I just here's the new one. I took this rubber gasket off and stuck the H10 probe in here, and it went nuts. And you can see why. Because it's so oily right here. We're going to have to reuse the TXV because that is extra with York. They do not send a new TXV with the coil. I would have bought a new TXV, but the York store was out of stock on these. So, but there's nothing wrong with this TXV. It does work. So we're going to reuse that. Everything's bolt-on, so there's no brazing required. You unbolt it here, unbolted here, unbolted here, undo your bulb over there, and you're good to go. So we're going to take apart the new one and go put it in place. Alright guys, we got the old TXV installed. We have our bulb wrapped up. We have our equalizing tube screwed in, and you'll notice that I've put tape here, some bulb tape, so that this doesn't rub a hole. I've also put it here so this doesn't rub a hole. I've pretty much put it everywhere possible where it could rub a hole. Here, down here, where it can touch the cabinet. And I stuck one to the this angle A, triangle piece, whatever you want to call it, so that way no vibrations can, you know, like that. So, just taking extra precautions here. So now we're going to go try to, it's not in the, it's in a big closet, but it's a little complicated to get it in and out. So we're going to go try to put it in place. Here's our work area. That's the top of the air handler. You can't see it. There's the new coil. It's a 2-piece air handler, modular blower, and encased coil. We got her in place. Gonna braze, start a vacuum, fire this baby up. Alright, we got her brazed in, guys. There's the coil part, and if you look up there, there's the modulating blower. It's not variable speed or anything, but I think it's got an ECM motor in it. There's the blower right there. Nope, it does not have an ECM because there's a capacitor. But it's all brazed in. Tyler's going to get the vacuum process started. We're going to put the doors on, hook the drain back up, and get this baby up and running. Okay guys, we have our vacuum going. A lot of people like to know the model numbers. So here's the condenser. It is a YHJD60, and you can read the rest. 13 SEER, 5-ton heat pump. Serial number, the way to identify year on the arc is you're going to have a letter, then a number, then a letter, then a number. Okay? The first two numbers are your year model. So W0D9, that tells me that we have a 09. So this is a 2009 York unit. So, vacuum's rolling, and as soon as it's done, we will cut the gas loose that we pumped down earlier and start this thing up. Here are our model and serial numbers for our new replacement coil, MC62. What that means is this is a multi-position, and it's a 5-ton. And if again you're always going to have a W with York, a number, a letter, a number, a letter, a number. So 14, that's a 2014 coil. So this thing's been sitting in the warehouse for a little while. And I also see here, used to when you'd buy York, I'm going to stick my finger over that right there, you would just see Unitary Products, Norman, Oklahoma, because that's where the coils are made. Well, now Johnson Controls has threw their name in there, Johnson Controls Unitary Products. So with that right there, that name right there, that's what ruined York. Thank you, Johnson Controls. Alright guys, we're sitting very healthy at 99 microns, 100 microns. That's good enough for me. I'm going to unhook the vacuum, hook up the smart tool, release the charge, fire it up, and charge her up. Alright guys, I have my smart tool set up. The way I set mine is up, if I can, I'll use the high pressure probe straight on the valve. If not, I have these. They work really well. On the suction one, I always use my little hose, and I also use a Schrader core tool. I may not even have to add refrigerant, but I like to put it in there just in case. I don't want to have to add refrigerant, unhook it, and rehook it. So this is how I hook it up. There goes the unit running. I don't want to have to unhook and rehook and all that, so I hook it up acting like I'm going to have to add refrigerant. So, with that being said, smart tool is online. We are set to R410A. If you do have the smart tool, or you're looking to purchase the smart tool, one thing you want to be very careful with is to make sure that you're on the right refrigerant, because the icon is really small. So always make sure you're on the right refrigerant. We're on 410A. We have a 410A unit. So we're going to let it run and stabilize. We're looking for a 10 to 11 degree subcooling on this York. Alright guys, she's been running a little while. Subcooling's running a little low. So we're going to go ahead and throw a little bit of gas in there, bring that subcooling closer to 10, and bring that superheat down a little bit. And then after that, she should be good to go. Guys, I was able to get the superheat to come down, but I can't get my subcooling much higher. And I think the reason is because there's such a load in the house, the valve is wide open, and it's just pouring refrigerant in, which is why the superheat's coming down. I've also had this problem on my ICP equipment. When I do install ICP equipment that has an expansion valve, it does the same thing. The superheat drops, but the subcooling hangs in at about 2 to 3 degrees, even if the target is 10. And I've left them like that, and I've never had a complaint from the customer. So the only thing I can configure is that it's wide open because it's under such a load. So I'm going to leave this one like this, and if she has some trouble, she'll call me, and we'll come back and adjust the charge if necessary. But alright guys, that'll about do it for this one. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys on the next one.